director of the Sundance Film Festival. Welcome. I like this audience. So, all right, settle down, people. So, Ira Sachs. Lady, The Delta, 40 Shades of Blue, Last Address, Keep the Lights On, all films that showed at Sundance, all very different films. And at the same time, you think, how can like one person sort of do all this and bring all these different images to us time and time again? But at the same time, in the center of Ira's work is always, and I don't say this about all filmmakers, is humanity. And he finds this way of understanding who we are and bringing it to the screen where we understand ourselves even better. And this is one of those films. I'm going to bring him out right now because you are here for the world premiere of Love is Strange, Ira Sachs.
Cooper and Sundance. I came to my first Sundance Film Festival, which was then called the U.S. Film Festival, in 1979, and I was 14. And I learned that it was possible to make films from the heart and make films that you cared about and make films that were independent. And I would definitely not be here today without the support of Sundance and the Sundance Institute throughout the full length of my career up to this point. And so many people, it's a beautiful example of how you can make things possible. So thank you, Sundance. After the film, I want to recognize this incredible cast and crew who've come together to make this film, who put so much of their heart into the story. But I'm going to let the film speak for itself in terms of that work. I want to, in advance, these films do not get made without individuals. There are 27 individuals, and I will not name them all, but I want to recognize them and say that without each and every one of you, we would not be here today with this film, because this film would not have been financed. So I want to thank the people. I want to thank the San Francisco Film Society and the Jen Rainin Foundation, who supported us in post-production and are doing incredible work for American and international film. And lastly, before this particular movie, I want to just thank my husband, Boris Torres. I didn't think I'd get touched up, but this is a film about love. It is about love being strange, but Boris has taught me that love can also be very wonderful. So I hope you enjoy the movie, and I look forward to talking to you about it with the cast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David Courier. I'm one of the senior programmers of the festival. Please join me in welcoming back Ira Sachs. So we are going to open this up to a Q&A, but I'm sure Ira has a thing or two to say first.
Yeah, I just, this kind of film was made with the love and care of so many people. There's many of them are here tonight. I would like to ask everyone who was involved with the making of the film to stand up. There's a large group here. And let's go. I'd like to bring on stage some of the people who were really the core creative people who were involved with this film. My wonderful editors, Mike Bolt-Taylor and Afonso Goncalves. The wonderful production designer, Amy Williams. My partner in crime, my co-writer on the film, Mauricio Zacharias. And the producing team who made this possible with me. That's Jay Van Hoy, Jane Barron Sherman, Lucas Joaquin, and Lars Knudsen, if you would all come up. As you can tell, this is a film that's really made by its acting. I was so extraordinarily lucky to have this incredible ensemble. I'd like to bring onto the stage Cheyenne Jackson, who's here. Darren Burrows, who played Elliot. The wonderful Marisa Tomei. Two men who really gave everything to this film, their heart and their soul and themselves. It was a great privilege to work with both Alfred Molina and John Lithgow.
Y'all to step down stage a little bit just so everybody can see y'all, because that's great. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are going to open this up to Q&A. If you have any questions for Ira or anyone else up here, raise your hand. I will call on you. Try to speak as loudly as possible. It's a big room, but I will repeat the question if need be. Anyone?
Up here?
Okay, yay, up there, yes.
How autobiographical is this story?
Did you
The question was, how autobiographical is this story? And I would say only in emotion and not in fact. So I wanted to make a film about the possibility of love to bloom with time. That was something that took me a long time to realize was possible. And all my other films, if you've seen any of them, you might understand why. But this film is all about what love is, both for a couple, but also for a family and for a community, and for parents and children, and all the different ways in which we love each other, and all the ways in which that is a very complicated act.
Okay, anyone else? Sure, this lady right here.
Hi, I was wondering, this is such an incredible story, and there seems to be more to tell. How do you know as a director when to end the movie?
Well, I guess that was a question for Ira. The question was, this is such an incredible story, and there's so much to tell. How do you know when to end the movie?
Well, I think for me, the film was a lot about the cycles of life. And it's about the generations, and I think for it is a circular film. I think it's about a couple who's going into something like a marriage together, and then ultimately it's about a boy going into the future. So I think finding the right amount of information which told that story without telling too much, but had the elements that I hope any good story have, which make you connect to the characters, is when you feel like it's ready to show.
Anyone else? Yeah, the gentleman with the hat back there.
What were some of your films, what were some of the films of the artists that influenced?
The question was, what film artist influenced this film? The list is long. I did not go to film school, and I just became a filmmaker by watching a lot of movies. But I would say, actually Japanese cinema was very important to us. We watched, Mauricio and I, and he could talk about this also, we watched a lot of cinema about families and about sort of social realism in a certain way. We were also influenced by a vein of French cinema that is very realistic in nature, and yet tells stories that hopefully transcend beyond the daily of these characters. And always for me, American filmmakers like Cassavetes, who I saw all of his films here at the Sundance Film Festival one year, remind me that you try to capture with the camera the things that are unexpected between people, and my job is to make that possible for these people.
Okay, anyone else? I'm sure this gentleman right here.
When a matter is so personal to the filmmaker, do you find yourself sometimes
losing focus, and do you have someone to go and, ask, what am I doing here? Am I getting too close? Am I losing the narrative? Because I can feel some very personal to you. Does that blur sometimes a filmmaker? The question was for Ira. When you're dealing with subject matter like this that is so close to you personally, do you have somebody to bounce it off of and mirror it and ask, am I getting too close? Am I getting too personal?
Well, without being facetious, I would say I have all of these people to bounce off things in lots of different ways. And I really feel as a director that a lot of what I'm doing is trying to observe what these actors are giving me. And I bring a story to the table, but actually they make it their own. Eventually I let go. And I think maybe you guys could talk about what the transitions that happen from a script to making it your own as characters. You want to talk about that?
You're asking me. I've forgotten what the question was. But if it's to do with how personal it gets, I think there's always a point where it's personal because there's a point where the character is you and you are the character and you can't really get away from that. But I don't think any of us lose sight of that, because we're essentially telling a story rather than, it's storytelling rather than therapy. But I think the real work when it comes to keeping a perspective on it is absolutely the directors, because we're like, he's like herding sheep. We're kind of, we get an idea and we run with it, and then we need the director to kind of say, okay, this might be better, that might be better. But I think it's a testament to Ira's taste and to his sense of appropriateness and to his quality of vision, the way he can. I mean, there are some shots in the scene in the movie, for instance, when Joey has given the painting to George, and he comes down the stairs, and there's this very kind of banal moment in a way where a neighbour's coming up the stairs and he's coming down, and you've got the traffic going beyond the window, and there's this, it's ordinary life. Life's going on, and suddenly there's this incredible moment when he's completely alone, and he just lets all that emotion out, and then he leaves that frame, and then the camera stays there, and it's so exciting because you think, is someone going to walk into that frame? Is someone going to reoccupy that space? And it becomes really eloquent. And that's absolutely the director's vision, and I think whatever goes through Ira's mind when he was working out those shots or letting those takes go as long as they did, I don't know, but it was it's a thing of great beauty, I think.
But it was also a little modest from my perspective as a director, because you don't do anything that you don't make anything that doesn't come from what these people give you. And I think what I feel is really a success of the film is that these two men create the history of a 40-year relationship, with all the texture. John, you could talk a little bit about creating the relationship you have with Fred.
When I was asked to do the film, Fred was already set in the role of George, and I was ecstatic. I loved Fred's work for years. We had been friends since the early 90s, not close friends, but very good friends. I had never worked with him, and I just knew this was going to work so wonderfully. I knew we were going to be a great old couple together, and that in fact, making the movie was just like falling in love with this man, and it was such a joyful experience. But it was joy from the beginning to the end, and there was so much hysterical laughter. This is the funniest man, and he just made me laugh so hard. And there was a moment late in the shooting when we thought, my God, there's no moment in the film when we laugh like this. This is an essential part of their relationship. And, well, one of the last days we shot was in that bar, Julius. And by God, we injected a little laughter into it. And it was that kind of, as Ira said, so much of this grew out of Fred's and my old friendship and the things we discovered, the layers of new friendship. And here again, I have to give Ira great credit. I mean, his spade work, we didn't rehearse the film. I was making a film in Calgary. He traveled out there and spent 2 days with me just to talk about it. Spent 2 days with Fred. He did in Los Angeles. He spent that much time with all these people without us ever being together. He doesn't really believe in us rehearsing together. He just believes in us deeply understanding the relationships. And he loves the spark of seeing us finally do the work in front of camera. I've said enough.
Okay, anyone else? Sure, the lady with the striped shirt, or striped scarf, I guess, and shirt. Whatever you're wearing that's striped, you're the one we need to. Ira, can you repeat that?
The question was about the city and the music and what place and what character do they take in the film. And certainly to me, this is a love story to the city of New York and to the type of world and type of life that you can find there. I think it's very much a film about New York. The music is primarily Chopin. We discovered, Marisa wrote this piece into the film where the little girl is playing a prelude. And when we started editing, Alfonso and Michael and I, we started thinking about how musical, how narrative, how dramatic, how funny, how lively, how wonderful Chopin is. And so we ended up creating the score primarily out of that music, and it connects obviously to the themes of the film, but it also gives it, interestingly enough, a certain lightness. I mean, in a way, it plays like jazz in the film, and I think that was something that we felt could also work counterpuntily to some of the emotions that are in the story.
So I'm told that we have time for 2 more questions, and there's yes, you gentleman right there.
What's the question for the actors? What was it that attracted you to this wonderful project?
The question was for the actors, what attracted them to this wonderful project?
Well, I had seen Ira's other films, so I knew that I wanted to be part of it, really without knowing much about the character. We met, we talked about the character. I don't know, did I discourage you from hiring me, I think? I kind of did.
You know, I think what Marisa really wanted to get right was the quality of what it was to be a working woman at home raising kids in a marriage at this point. And I think that's a hard thing to get the balance in a way that I think people connect to, and I think you've done a beautiful job. So.
Well, I mean, I'm surrounded here by Oscar winners and Tony winners and Oscar winners, and when Ira called and said, would you like to come and play Marisa's husband and John Lithgow's nephew, and Marisa wants you to do it, I said, are you sure? And of course, yes, so, and Ira and I, 40 Shades of Blue, I was part of that with Ira, and so, I knew from that everyone Ira always surrounds himself as like family, and just it's a wonderful experience to come together every day, and what kind of fun are we going to have, and magic, and it's he really understands from the heart the collaborative nature of filmmaking, in my opinion, and so I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
And our final question is gentleman right here.
I don't have a question, I have more of a comment.
Okay, it's a comment.
John and Alfred, I've been with my partners for 31 years. Thank you for your portrayal. It's a perfect example, and for putting it in film. It's a perfect example for me now. to take to my family, my nieces and nephews, and show them what love is.
This gentleman was commenting, the actors, he's been in a relationship with his partner for 31 years, and the love that they showed in this movie is something that he will be proud to show to his family. We hope that you all feel that way as well, and thank you all so much for coming out.